Hello, everybody. I sure hope that you can see me. This is my very first time doing a Meet the Creators YouTube live video hop. I've gone live a couple of times before to craft, but never really just
You're amazing.
You guys can see me. Oh, and here I am. I have my iPad on so that I can see the live chat. So hello, go ahead. You can come in and say hello. No, I have a 5-year-old son. His name's Jax. Come here. He says no. So I have a list of questions that I'm going to be answering, but if you guys have other questions, I can see the chat. So feel free to ask some questions. I really encourage you guys to like the videos along the entire hop, subscribe to the creators along the hop. I hope that you see some people that you followed before, and I hope that you see some people that maybe you haven't seen before, and you can kind of get to know us. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in to make sure that we have time to answer all of these questions. Water. Okay, so the first one is, how did I get started card making? So those of you that know me, you probably already know my story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. My parents went through a pretty messy divorce when I was about 12. That's when it started. And my mom had always kind of scrapbooked, and she left Jack's fish. She left some of her scrapbooking things behind, but I didn't really know how to use them. And to say that I was an angry and emotional, upset teenager is an understatement. And somebody at my high school, somebody who works in my high school office, noticed that I probably needed some help working through my emotions and everything. And one day she pulled me aside and she was like, "Hey, do you have an outlet?" And I was like, "An outlet of what?" And obviously I did not have an outlet. And so she did what my therapist and my counselors could never do. And she found a way to help me and to express my feelings. So we would make cards together sometimes if I had a study hall, or sometimes they'd pull me out of class just to go, like if I didn't really have anything to do, and we'd make cards together. And on the desk, and the front desk of my high school, there was a basket, and we would put our cards in there. And so students and teachers, whoever, if they needed a birthday card, if they needed a sympathy card, any cards that we made were up for grabs for people to take and give to other people. And so that was how I got started card making, was really an outlet for my stress and my anxiety, my anger. And that's how I started. That was a long time ago. Like I said, I was probably 13 when I started. I'm 30 now, so it's been a couple of years that I've been making cards. My favorite style and or medium, I'm clean and simple. You will rarely see me doing extravagant scene cards. I think I've maybe done 2 this whole year. I'm clean and simple. I love stencils. I love watercolor. I like to work on backgrounds and then just have a focal point image, something very simple on the front. I always say that my style is clean and simple with a little bit of something else. So I like to add a little glitter, maybe with Glitz glitter gel, or even just like a wink of Stella or something, just a little something to give it a pop. Let's see, my most challenging technique is probably scene building, extravagant cards. It's not something that I do well. I don't color especially well, so no line coloring has always been a struggle for me. It's something that I work on a little bit, but honestly, it's not really in my style. So I work on it sometimes, but not frequently. I don't really, I can color with Copic markers, but I'm no Kathy Rakusin or anything. I use like 2 markers, 2 colors for each blend, and that's it. So that's definitely challenging for me. My crafty hero. So way back when I was like 13 and I started card making, it took me a little bit to get into YouTube. I mostly just crafted with the woman who worked in my high school office. We did not a lot of stamping. It was a lot of like the ephemera. I still to this day cannot say it. You know what I mean? Those little die cut pieces and twine and ribbon and stuff. I did a lot with that. I didn't really start stamping for a couple more years. And when I kind of got into stamping, I followed Carissa Wiley. She was my very first YouTube person that I followed. And from there, it quickly evolved into Jennifer McGuire and Christina Werner, because they created simple cards. even Jennifer McGuire now, I look at some of her things and I'm like, oh, can I do that? And I always can because they're simple but with a touch of flair. So that's who I first started was Carissa Wiley. And I've still followed her to this day. I love watching everything that she does because she was the first one who really was a big name to inspire me. Do I craft alone or with friends? 99% of the time, I'm alone at my desk. I do have a crafty buddy that I Zoom chat with frequently, and we craft together and we chat together while I craft, but she's halfway across the country from me. So most of the time I'm by myself. I have a brother who likes to color with me. So Sunday afternoons after church, I'll take some markers and some stamps up to my parents' house and we color together. But most of the time I'm by myself. My favorite stamp company, I have a lot. I have the privilege of working with a lot of stamp companies. So obviously they are all my favorites. I love LDRS. They have these little pocket pals that are perfect for me because like I said before, I don't color well. And so the smaller the image, the better it is for me because it doesn't take a lot of blending to color. So I color a lot of LDRS image. I color a lot of lawn fawn. My favorite thing, sometimes they have those little smaller images. Pink and Maine has smaller images. So I stick to the companies that have smaller images. That being said, I do love Gina K Designs and Simon Says Stamp with their big scripty sentiments because, like I said before, I like to work on backgrounds. So the backgrounds are often the star of my cards, and then I can put a big sentiment on the front and make it look really pretty with not a lot of effort. I am a very tidy crafter. So I don't know if you can see my desk behind me. This is normal, and it's freaking me out that I have this stack right here. That's stuff I need to put away. So this is me messy. I'm a pretty tidy person. I have all my things in boxes. All my brushes are like in their caddy and put away in their spot. As I create, I work on one project at a time, and I will clean my desk, wipe my desk down, put everything away. I have my stamps over here on a shelf. They are organized by craft company. And then within that, they're alphabetized by stamp name. So I always know where everything is. I don't use any of those fancy apps. I'm good at keeping things in my head. And I just know that I have a stamp set and I remember the name. And so then I can go over to my craft area over here and just rifle through and find alphabetized. I can find the stamp set that I need. So I'm a very tidy crafter, which works for me. Some people are messy crafters and that works for them. For me, I can't craft if I don't have a clean workstation to work on. So that's me. Let's see. Do I save scraps for future projects? Maybe. I don't use a lot of pattern paper. I have a lot of pattern paper, but I hoard it. So when I use it, I will keep every little piece of pattern paper. I put them in 6x6 pockets. Like I said, I'm organized. It's kind of like I don't know. I don't want to say OCD because that's not, but you know, I have everything in pockets. Stamps are in pockets, pattern paper is in pockets. And so I have my scraps put in that pocket. White cardstock, I will save my Nina because a lot of times I work with small images. So I can use just the tiniest little piece to stamp an image. But if I'm just using like my regular 110-pound cardstock that's just for my card bases, and I just have a little sliver, I don't save that. I recycle it. So yes, sometimes I save, sometimes I don't. How much planning goes into each video? Little to none. The most planning that I have is, so I'm on a lot of design teams and I have separate little baskets for each team that I'm on. And I have the newest products up at the front so that I know what I need to work with. And I'll look at a stamp set and an idea will pop into my head. And so I'll create with that. The most planning that I do for a video is I'm on the ThermoWeb team. And so a lot of their products I call wet products, and they have to dry for a couple hours before I complete the project. So I'll plan ahead for that. That'll be like the last project I work on at night. So it can dry overnight and I can pick right back up where I started in the morning. So honestly, little to no planning for my videos. The most difficult part about having a YouTube channel is time. I have a 5-year-old. He is thankfully being very good today. He has his iPad and he's watching Peppa Pig right now. But finding the time during the day to craft is hard. There are good days and there are days when I don't get to sit down at all. So I do a lot of my crafting at night. So I kind of have to plan out that way. So I can film at night because I have my lights that are fine, but photographing becomes difficult. If I like to use natural light. I did just buy a light box, but I prefer natural light. So I live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. We don't get a lot of natural light. So I have to plan out, sit down. If I'm going to have a sunny day tomorrow, I'll make 5 or 6 cards, 5 or 6 videos tonight so that I can photograph all of them in the morning. And that's the hardest part. How do I get inspired when I'm in a slump? That is hard, I think, for all of us crafters. I'm just getting over a cold, so I've kind of been in a slump for a week where I just didn't feel like crafting. The way that I do, I usually browse through Instagram. I'm not a big Pinterest or Facebook browser, but I'm a big Instagram browser. So I'll look through. Usually I'm inspired by color, not by somebody's specific design, even though me as a crafter, I am perfectly okay with somebody casing my designs. For me, it is a huge compliment. And even recently, I think it was 2 days ago, somebody took one of my designs and within 3 hours, they had created their own spin-off of my design. And that was a huge compliment to me to know that somebody else was inspired by my card. So I'll go on Instagram and get inspired there. And then I encourage you guys, if you find a design that inspires you, always give credit back to the artist because it makes them feel really, really great. What other crafts do I do? None. None at all. This is all I do. I don't really have a lot of time for anything else. Like I said, I have a 5-year-old. I waitress part-time, and then I'm part-time employed by a crafty company. So my days go in a snap. I don't really have time for a whole bunch of other crafts. And honestly, I don't know. I'm one of those people that I find something and I just latch onto it. I don't really like other things. I know that sounds so terrible to say, but I used to cross stitch when I was like 11, 12, 13. I don't think I would get back into that if I had the opportunity. I didn't really love it. I do like to read. That's not really a craft, but I haven't read a physical paper book probably since we adopted our son like 5 years ago. I just don't have the time. I listen to audiobooks, but there's really no time in my schedule for a whole bunch of other things. Oh, I apologize if you hear banging. Apparently my son's done watching Peppa Pig. Let's see. Do I listen to music or watch TV while I craft? So most of the time I am watching TV. Off to my left, I have like a little area where I can set up my iPad or my laptop, and while I'm filming, I can watch something. I have a moderate amount of anxiety and depression. I think like a lot of people do. And so I read something on Facebook the other day where they said people who are anxious people watch the same things over and over and over again because they know what to expect and they know what's coming next. And they don't really have to pay attention because we know what's coming. And I kind of laughed a little bit because that's me. I watched Murder, She Wrote on repeat since I was about 13. So that's currently what I'm watching. Just because I already know what happens, I could probably say the plot line for line, and I don't need to watch. So that's what I watch. Occasionally, I do listen to audiobooks. But again, it's ones that I have heard over and over and over again. So I just finished the Harry Potter series twice through audiobooks because that's what I like. Let's see. Next question is, what is my favorite color? I like yellow. I've always liked yellow, which is strange because coming on here and projecting myself is who I am, but like I'm not a bright, bubbly person. I am the person standing in the corner at a party, waiting for the party to be over and waiting to go home. But my favorite color is kind of this like, hello, yellow color, which is odd and weird for me. But that's the color that I like. Right smack dab in the middle of the rainbow. So whenever I blend rainbow backgrounds or whenever I am like painting watercolor backgrounds, I always put more yellow in, partly because yellow gets taken over by other colors, but partly because I really, really love yellow. Second to yellow would probably be mint. I do love mint and gold. Like gold is just a shiny, glittery yellow. So I guess it makes sense that yellow and gold would be my favorites. And the last question is, what is my favorite movie? This one was hard because I've watched the same movies over and over and over again. So I love the Harry Potter series. I'm basically an inner child. When Harry Potter comes on, I'll sit there and I'll watch Harry Potter forever. But I do also love Knives Out. It's a newer movie. It's like a murder mystery, but it has some funny to it too, which is strange because anybody who knows me, I don't really love comedy movies. I often don't find them funny. I'm not really one for slapstick humor, but Knives Out I really love. I love Daniel Craig, so I like that movie. I could watch the Daniel Craig James Bond movies, and I do. Like we were going back to what do I watch when I craft? James Bond movies are ones that I could watch and just out of the corner of my eye and not even blink because I know what's coming. And then the Mission Impossible movies too. I watch a lot of those. I watch what most people would think of like as more masculine movies. I guess I always have. Even growing up, I was never a girly girl. I was never the one. It's strange because I do paint my nails now for videos because my nails are short and they're kind of stubby and they don't look nice on camera. So I do keep things on my nails now. But I did my makeup 5 minutes before this live just so that you wouldn't have to see my pasty white face. I mean, I still kind of look pasty, but not as much as I did. So I keep to not really the traditional feminine things in my life. Okay, so that was all of the questions that from people in the Facebook group wanted to know. So if you guys have other questions, feel free to shout them out now. And while I am thinking of it, down in the video description below, there's the link to Terra's YouTube channel. Jax. Sorry. He's 5 and he sat for 15 minutes. So that's enough for today, right? Terra's YouTube channel link is down in the video description below. And so when I am done in just about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, she's going to be up next. So again, follow, like movie or the videos as you go along, follow your creators. It really helps with our YouTube numbers and it helps to get our videos shown and kind of viewed. Like when you search for something, they'll be viewed up at the top of the page there. Yes, Amanda, I love action movies too, although I have never seen Princess Bride. Jackson. Sorry. Growing up, I didn't watch a lot of TV. I didn't watch a lot of movies. I grew up in the country, and my dad always had the philosophy of play outside. You don't watch TV. If the sun is shining, you go outside. Even in the middle of winter, you go outside. So to this day, a lot of movies that, like I said, I'm 30. A lot of movies that people my age grew up with, I didn't get to watch. So, not that I didn't get to watch, we just didn't. So Princess Bride, I've never seen that. I've never seen other like typical movies like Princess Bride or Dirty Dancing. Jax, come here, baby. Come here. Quick. Come show them your face. It's really cute. Say hello.
Hello.
Tell them your name.
Jackson.
And how old are you?
5.
And do you like to make cards with mommy? Yeah?
Yeah.
So Jax is 5. Ever since probably he was about 2 and he could sit up and hold a paintbrush and hold a pen, he has been making cards with me. So he knows how to stamp. He knows how to ink blend. He knows how to watercolor. He can use my Misty. He can use my Copics. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? What is your favorite animal? What do you like to make cards with?
With stamps.
Oh, you like to make cards with stamps? Yeah?
And cheese. Too.
What?
No.
You don't put cheese on your cards.
No, 10 cheese.
I'll put 10 cheese. So this is my little buddy. He is often in my craft room with me, even when I'm working on videos or projects. Sometimes you'll see his little hands sneak into the camera. I'm in the middle of my foyer, like when you walk right in my front door, like bam, there's my desk. So he'll sit right on the floor next to me and he'll make cards with me. I have multiple Misties, so I'll pass him one and he can do it all by himself. He can make cards. So he's often with me. Right?
Right.
You done? Okay, go ahead.
Where is Sam?
In a little bit. So, does anybody else have any other questions about me? Let's see. Oh, Nicole said, what is my least favorite technique that I happen to be good at doing? Oh, man. It's really terrible of me to say that my least favorite techniques are ones that I'm not good at. Like, I'm not good at colored pencils. I'm not good at no line coloring. Man, I'm trying to think because most crafty things I like. I don't like stitching. I guess I'm good at stitching, but I don't really enjoy it. I don't enjoy stitching on my cards only because I'm a diabetic and I poke my fingers enough through the day without stitching that I don't need to add more needles into my life. So I guess that would be my answer is stitching. Amanda, yes, he did send Jennifer McGuire his card. So he made a card specifically for Jennifer McGuire probably about a week ago. And I had it on Snapchat. I had it on Instagram. I thought he was making a card for me. And he goes, I'm my favorite card maker. And I said, oh, is that Mommy? He goes, no, it's Jennifer McGuire. So we watch a lot of Jennifer McGuire together. So that card is on its way to her. So hopefully she will see that because I know that will make him really happy to know that she got his card. Let's see. Someone is saying, so much fun to craft with kids. Yes. Like I said, Jax has been crafting with me since he was 2. He has always liked it. So he can hold a pencil and a paintbrush. Some of my other friends, we try not to compare our kids to each other, but we all do. Jax is really good at holding things the correct way, which is awesome. Oh, another really good question. Somebody just asked, what do I do with the cards I make? Because I do make a lot of cards. I probably make about 50 in a month. So some of them go back to the company that I designed for. Some companies that I designed for request that I send those cards back to them, and then they can use them to send for product displays for, like at Creativation. Some of my cards were displayed there last year, which was really exciting for me to see. But the majority of them, I donate to my mom. My mom is a school teacher and she works at our church. And so she has an outreach where she just sends cards to people because we all know as card makers that people like to receive something handmade in the mail. So I give a lot of them to her. I call them my reject cards, which is funny because they're not rejects. They're all really good cards, but they're ones that maybe I look at. I have favorites. I probably make like one card a month that I look at and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really love this one. And I give it to my husband to give to me because I feel guilty displaying my own cards on the wall. But if he writes a little note in it to me, then I can hang it on the wall, that I don't feel so guilty. But most of my cards go back out to my mom, and then she gives them to churches, schools, nursing homes. So my cards are all out there. I rarely keep many. I keep them for like a calendar year so that at the end of the year, the companies that request that I send some cards to them, I have all my cards that I made for the year for that company and I can send them to them. And then after the new year, probably like January, February-ish, I give boxes of them to my mom to distribute. Let's see. Rachel says Jax could have his own Dudes Craft 2 interview. Yes, it would be a short one because he's crazy, but yes, absolutely. Yes, Donna's saying she doesn't like to part with them. I hoard pattern paper, and so that's enough of hoarding for me. I always, when I use up one pad of paper, like I order doubles to start with. One to use and one to look at. So I try not to hoard my completed cards. Just the ones that I really, really, really love, I give to my husband to then give back to me. So that's my little trick. Okay, so I'm going to just stay for another minute. And if nobody else has any other questions, then I am just about done. I want to make sure you have enough time to head over to Tara's YouTube channel. Again, her link is down in the video description. She's the next in the hop. I encourage you to like her video, to subscribe to her, and to everybody in the hop. And I want to say thank you for to Courtney for letting me be here today. This is my first time doing like an interview of sorts on camera, and I had fun. I hope that you guys all had fun and that you all learned a little bit more about me, about my style, and clearly about my crazy home life. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of the hop. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Oh, before I go, Rachel says, what technique do I want to try, but I'm too scared of? You know those jelly press things that everybody has? I don't have one of those. So maybe one of these days I will do that. But I'm not, like I said, I'm not a messy person. So even getting ink on my fingers, I'm not really a fan of. I admire the people who get ink on their fingers. One of these days I will break out of my shell and I will get my hands dirty, literally get my hands dirty. Alrighty, thank you guys so much. I will see you all later. I'll see you around. Bye, you guys.